All right, as the dog days of summer are starting to come to an end, it means that we start to get to focus on some football. And here at 57 Sports, it means that we get to focus on the A1 Furniture and Mattress High School Bowl Series. Totally looking forward to that. I do the play-by-play. The guy I'm talking to now provides all the color for me, and that is former UW Badger quarterback Mark Martinez, who is joining us here on the Sports News. And Mark, welcome on in. Starting to get pumped up for a new football season?
Absolutely. You can smell it in the air. Excited to join you for a second season, Rich. I really look forward to this season.
Yeah, I'm driving around. I see kids practicing out on the field now, and it's like, okay, it's getting close, and I'm sure that the kids are chomping at the bit as well. I'd like to delve into your background a little bit. Tell us about your time when you were part of the UW Badger football program.
Well, I was a walk-on back in the late 80s, and I was with the infamous Don Morton regime. Played quarterback for a year, and then I got moved to defense, played that for a year. So I got a chance to see the program inside and out just prior to Barry Alvarez coming on board, and then really just taking the program over and leading it to the incredible heights that it's at to this day.
It was a different world back then. I think a lot of people don't know. I mean, so many Badger fans don't remember a time when the program wasn't nationally prominent, but that used to be the case, wasn't it?
It certainly was, and that's why the 1993 Rose Bowl was incredibly special, because I was on the team when we were down at the bottom of the program. I think at one point there were 109 teams in Division I college football, and the Badgers were ranked 108.
Oh.
And so from climbing to that to winning the Rose Bowl in Pasadena was phenomenal for Barry to take it from where it was to where it was then, and then obviously where it is now with Paul Christ and the boys.
Absolutely, and I know that you are UW Badger all the way. In fact, when I had you on my radio show, probably 15 years ago, you actually sang the fight song. It might even be longer, it might have been 20 years ago.
Yeah,
that's how far back that we go. So yeah. I know you're proud of that program, what it's been able to achieve. Speaking of programs that have done well, last year it was your final season coaching in high school football. You earned yourself a ring over there at Madison Abundant Life, didn't you?
Certainly did. So we won the state championship for 8-man football with Madison Abundant Life St. Ambrose Challengers, and it was an exciting season. We went undefeated, had a great senior class, and I had decided that last year was going to be my last year, and it was just a great way to go out with a great bunch of kids and coaches, and really going to miss it, but it was a pleasure and a blessing to go out on top.
So what it means now is for football, you get to be with us. And this is your second season doing this now. Tell me, what did you learn about being behind the microphone and calling a game as to being out there and coaching a game?
Definitely less stress. It was a lot of fun. Don't have to worry about the wins and losses as much. But that there is a ton of talent in the south central part of the state of Wisconsin. A lot of great coaches that have been around for 20, 30, 40 years and more. So some of these programs have just done a tremendous job of building their communities up from their youth program to the varsity level. And you see that week in and week out that we have tremendous programs, tremendous coaching, and great community following.
Yeah, the only stress now is having to deal with me in the booth, So that's, I know that scared a lot of people away back in the day, but no, we're happy to have you. Looking forward to the season. And speaking of the season, some games I definitely want to hit on and highlight. I think we got a pretty good schedule that we're looking at. Week 1, we get it started. It's Oregon at DeForest. Tell you what, that's a pretty good game out of the chute, isn't it?
It sure is. It's a Badger Conference crossover, North and South teams there. Dan Kissling, the head coach at Oregon, I actually played with him when I was on the Badgers. When I got switched from offense to defense, he and I played the same position. I found out pretty quick I wasn't going to be playing defense very long with the size and athlete that Dan is. So he's got a program down there that he's building up. They look to be much improved this year. I know he's looking to get into the top half of the Badger South Conference, and he's going up against a perennial team in the Badger North and in the DeForest Norskies, who always field a competitive team, but they always have to contend with the Wanakees of the world as well for that Badger North crown.
Yeah, I had the chance in the late 90s on the radio to do play-by-play for Norski Sports. Along with a guy by the name of Roy Tudor, his son Chris now coaching over at DeForest. I mean, it's going to be one heck of a start to the season, so we're looking forward to that. Other games that I think really big, always like the rivalry games. We go into the Rock Valley Week 5, Edgerton at Evansville.
Absolutely. You got the Crimson Tide and Edgerton going to Evansville. Evansville is coached by the legendary Ron Grovestein, who's been down there for, I believe, 37 years. A lot of people know him down there at a small school. He's done a tremendous job. Again, they're returning conference champs from last year, and he's always got that program well-oiled to go. That should be a great tussle.
Speaking of rivalry games, week number 6, East versus West, the Madison versus Madison. Doesn't get any bigger than that in the city, does it?
It doesn't. We were at that game last year. East hosted it. It was a barn burner shootout. West had one of the best players in the state in Terrell Carey, and he put on a show that night. That was a lot of fun. East and West always seems to have a number of great athletes on either side of the ball. Just seems to be the team that can play the most fundamentally sound is going to turn out and win that game. West is returning all-conference quarterback Keyshawn Shanklin to start for them again this year. That gives them a little bit of a leg up over East, but East comes in with a new coach, Jeremy Thornton, who was all-conference quarterback about a decade ago, and he's going to try to lead his alma mater in his first year as head coaching, see if they can get a crosstown win over West.
Well, I could talk about this stuff all day. Unfortunately, we're out of time. I even wanted to hit on that week 8. We got Sun Prairie, Verona. Great schedule ahead of us. Hopefully everybody will tune in. Mark, looking forward to the season. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, Rich.
A special thank you to Conan Automotive in Stoughton for supporting local athletics.